Have you ever wished you could drift off to sleep while listening to the whispers of gods and heroes from long ago? Imagine a world where stories move slowly, voices are soft, and the passage of time is calm and steady. Tonight, we will explore ancient Greek myths, not for adventure, not for excitement, but to gently guide your mind into rest. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Tonight, we will slowly wander through the world of Greek mythology, telling stories that soothe rather than thrill. Each tale has been selected to relax your mind, help your thoughts slow, and ease you into sleep. Let your breathing become steady, your muscles loosen, and your mind float along the gentle currents of these ancient stories. The world of Greek myths begins not with battles or dramatic clashes, but with the quiet unfolding of the universe. Before there were gods, before there was sky or sea, there was chaos. Not chaos as we understand it today, but a vast, silent emptiness, a blank canvas from which all things would eventually emerge. From chaos came Gaia, the earth itself, rising patiently into existence. She was solid and calm, a foundation upon which everything else would rest. Not long after, Uranus, the sky, stretched above her, vast and unchanging. From their union came the Titans, ancient beings who were embodiments of the natural world, forces that moved slowly, steadily, and inevitably. Among the Titans was Cronus, the god of time. Cronus was patient, yet he lived with quiet worry. A prophecy whispered that one of his children would one day overthrow him. In response, he swallowed each child at birth, hiding them within himself. Life continued, but it moved with a certain heaviness, as if the world itself was waiting. Rhea, Cronus' wife, chose a path of careful resistance. When Zeus, her youngest, was born, she hid him away on the island of Crete. There, he was raised in secrecy, nourished by goats, and lulled to sleep by the wind through olive groves. Time passed slowly, as it always does, and eventually Zeus returned to fulfill the inevitable prophecy. Cronus was overthrown, not through chaos or fury, but through the quiet unfolding of destiny. Zeus became the king of gods, ruling from Mount Olympus. But Olympus was not always thunder and lightning. It was a place of observation and reflection, where gods moved with purpose, yet rarely rushed. Hera, goddess of marriage, watched humanity with steady care. Athena, born from thought itself, valued wisdom and contemplation over haste. Apollo observed the sun rise and set each day, marking time gently. Artemis wandered forests silently, guarding the wilderness without disturbing it. Even the minor gods moved quietly. Hestia tended the hearths, bringing warmth and comfort without drama. The Muses inspired art and memory softly, so that stories could flow from one generation to the next. The Greeks understood that not every story needed excitement, some existed simply to bring order and calm to the world. Mortals, too, lived within this measured rhythm. Farmers followed the patterns of the seasons, guided by Demeter, goddess of the harvest. Fields grew slowly, winter arrived to rest the earth, and spring returned quietly, coaxing life from the soil. The natural world moved in cycles, and myths were the way to explain and honor those rhythms. Even heroes practiced patience. Bellerophon, who tamed the winged horse Pegasus, did so not with reckless daring, but with careful attention and gentle persistence. Theseus navigated the labyrinth with thoughtfulness, not haste. Odysseus drifted at sea, often waiting in silence, listening to the ocean and reflecting. The myths themselves offered lessons in patience and stillness. Monsters were not just obstacles, they were challenges to be understood and approached with care. The Hydra, Cerberus, and other mythical beings were defeated not through sheer force but through cleverness, strategy, and observation. Love stories, too, unfolded slowly. Orpheus descended into the underworld with nothing but his music. The story emphasizes calm, careful action, and the soothing power of melody. Even tragedy in Greek mythology often carried a quiet, reflective quality, teaching lessons about patience, humility, and the inevitability of life's natural order. Mortals and gods alike respected cycles. Poseidon did not lash the seas every day. The waves rose and fell in their natural rhythm. Even Hades, ruler of the underworld, maintained impartial order. The asphodel fields were calm and neutral, allowing souls to wander gently, without pain or chaos. Through these myths, the Greeks imparted the wisdom of harmony. Life was to be observed and respected, not rushed. Sleep was sacred, rest essential. Heroes, gods, and ordinary mortals all shared in these rhythms, learning from them, moving through the world in gentle steps, and embracing the slow unfolding of time. The stories often highlight quiet moments: the soft rustle of olive leaves, the gentle lapping of waves, the subtle murmur of a distant river. Festivals were calm, music flowed like a soft breeze, and even the actions of the gods were measured and purposeful. Nothing was hurried, nothing forced. As you listen, imagine walking through ancient Greek landscapes. Feel the warmth of the sun on white marble temples. Hear the faint chanting of priests in distant courtyards. See shepherds tending flocks under the serene sky. The world moves slowly, and so should your mind. Let it.as night falls in these myths, the stories move even more gently. Imagine the quiet moments of mortals and gods alike. Heroes rested after journeys. Farmers sat beside the soft glow of hearths. Travelers paused at riverbanks, listening to water ripple over stones. Even in myth, the Greeks understood that rest is essential, that life has pauses as important as actions. One of the most common stories comes from Demeter and Persephone. Their tale is not one of loud battles or dramatic confrontations, but of love, absence, and gentle cycles. Persephone wandered one day, picking flowers in a meadow, when the earth opened beneath her. Hades, the quiet and patient ruler of the underworld, took her below, not violently, but as a natural shift of fate. Drinks were just as important as food. Clean water was unreliable, so ale was consumed daily. Medieval ale was thick and cloudy, more like liquid bread than modern beer. It provided calories and warmth. Even children drank weak ale. Taverns sold stronger drinks, including spiced wines sweetened with honey. Alcohol relaxed the body and dulled pain. It made heavy food easier to enjoy and harder to refuse. Drinking was not separate from eating. The two went together, especially at night. Taverns were places of warmth and noise, even after dark. Inside, the air was smoky and thick. Wooden tables were crowded with bowls of stew, plates of meat, and chunks of bread. Food was salty and heavily seasoned, encouraging more drinking. Laughter echoed softly. For a few hours, worries faded. The wealthy experienced their own version of junk food. Their feasts were enormous, lasting for hours. Rich sauces thick with butter and cream covered meats. Pastries were elaborate and heavy. Sweet and savory flavors mixed together in overwhelming ways. Overeating was common, and discomfort followed. Still, indulgence continued. Food was pleasure and power combined. Doctors warned against rich food. Medieval medicine believed greasy meals created bad humors in the body. But advice rarely changed habits. Comfort mattered more than theory. In a world full of uncertainty, pleasure was valuable. Food safety was poor. Illness from spoiled food was common, though poorly understood. People blamed bad air or divine punishment. Despite this, street food culture grew. Cities expanded. Work intensified. Quick meals became necessary. As night deepens, the medieval town grows quieter. Vendors pack away baskets. Fires burn low. Tavern doors close one by one. Stomachs are full. Bodies feel heavy. Sleep comes more easily when hunger is gone. And in that quiet, with the warmth of food still present, the medieval world rests. The story does not end here. It simply slows, and then continues. The medieval town remains still beneath the night sky, as if it is breathing slowly, in and out, with the people who live within it. The warmth of food settles deeper into the body now, spreading gently, easing tired muscles and quieting restless thoughts. This feeling of fullness is familiar. It comes at the end of many days, a small reward after long hours of effort. In the Middle Ages, food was not simply nourishment. It was reassurance. It reminded people that they had survived another day. That they were safe, at least for the moment. Junk food, in its medieval form, played a quiet but important role in this feeling. Street food was woven into daily life. Vendors appeared where people naturally gathered. Near bridges where travelers crossed. Outside city gates where workers returned at dusk. Near churches after services. And always near taverns, where warmth and light spilled out into the street. These sellers knew what people wanted. Food that was hot. Food that was filling. Food that required no waiting. Many medieval people did not cook every evening. Fires took time to build. Fuel was precious. After a full day of labor, it was easier to buy food already prepared. This habit slowly shaped a culture of convenience, one that feels surprisingly familiar even now. Pies continued to dominate this world of easy meals. Some pies were small, meant for one person. Others were large, cut into portions. The filling varied constantly, depending on what scraps were available. Beef, pork, mutton, fish, or mixtures of many things. Sometimes the filling was rich and satisfying. Sometimes it was questionable. But it was always warm. This lesson is mirrored in every quiet moment of the stories. Sleep, observation, and patience are powerful. The stories of gods and humans show the rhythm of life. Night falls, and mortals retreat to their beds, resting while gods look on with gentle care. The soft illumination of lamps, the whisper of wind through olive trees, and the gentle lapping of distant waves create a soothing backdrop for life. Each myth is a reminder that calm observation, patience, and quiet action are valuable. Even monsters are part of this rhythm. The Hydra's heads regrow slowly, Cerberus guards the underworld calmly, and even Medusa's gaze has purpose and pattern. These stories illustrate that danger is often methodical, not chaotic, and patience is key to understanding and overcoming challenges. The cycles of the seasons, the changing of the sun, and the flow of rivers provide a constant backdrop to these tales. They remind mortals of life's rhythm, the inevitability of rest, and the quiet beauty in repetition. Mythology teaches that even great deeds benefit from reflection, and even small actions contribute to the world's harmony. Greek myths also teach the importance of gentle observation. Heroes who rush are often defeated, those who wait, who think, who observe, succeed. Life itself moves slowly, and myths honor this pace. Sleep, contemplation, and patience are recurring themes throughout these ancient tales. As we move further into these myths, consider the quiet lives of gods and mortals alike. Even mighty heroes, celebrated for their daring and courage, had times of stillness. Perseus, before facing Medusa, spent days observing, learning, and preparing. He did not rush. Each step, each thought, each plan was deliberate. The myth teaches patience. Even in challenges, calm reflection is essential. The story of Hercules, often remembered for his incredible feats, also includes moments of quiet labor and steady perseverance. The 12 labors were not just tests of strength, they were slow journeys requiring thought, timing, and endurance. Even when performing great deeds, Hercules moved with a steady, measured pace. The myths remind us that true power is found in persistence and patience, not in hurried action. Let us return to the gods. Hermes, the messenger, glided softly between the worlds of gods and mortals. He was rarely loud or imposing, his work was delicate, precise, and fleeting. Artemis wandered forests silently, guarding animals and travelers with calm observation rather than dramatic intervention. Athena, goddess of wisdom, provided guidance with quiet words, encouraging mortals to think and reflect. Even Apollo, who drove the sun across the sky, did so with a serene, unwavering rhythm. In the mortal world, life unfolded gently. Farmers rose with the sun, tending crops, listening to the wind through the fields, and feeling the slow passage of seasons. Fishermen drifted on calm seas, hearing waves ripple softly against their boats. Families gathered in the warmth of their homes, telling simple stories, observing the night sky, and resting in harmony with the world. The myths themselves reflect this calm rhythm. Consider the tale of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus descends into the underworld with nothing but his music. The darkness is profound, yet not frightening. Each note soothes the spirits around him, each step is measured and careful. Even in moments of tension, the story emphasizes patience, reflection, and gentle action. Orpheus' journey is not about rapid triumph, it is about slow, careful persistence, the kind of rhythm that encourages rest rather than excitement. Another story of quiet wonder is that of Demeter and Persephone. The slow cycle of seasons reflects the natural ebb and flow of life. When Persephone descends into the underworld, winter arrives, a pause for the earth itself. When she returns, spring unfolds gradually, bringing renewal. The myth is a gentle reminder that rest is necessary, that all life benefits from a pause, and that cycles of activity and stillness are natural and restorative. Even mythical creatures often embody calm and rhythm. The slow-moving rivers of Hades, the steady flow of the Styx, and the measured steps of Cerberus all reflect the structured, deliberate pace of life after death. There is no rush. There is balance. The myths teach that even endings can be gentle, that peace and order are often found in quiet observation. Now, imagine the quiet moments of Olympus. The gods may convene, but their meetings are thoughtful and measured. There is no unnecessary shouting or dramatic outburst. Decisions are made carefully, and the world continues in steady, predictable motion. Mortals live their lives beneath this calm guidance, their actions often small but meaningful. The myths suggest that every quiet choice, every measured step, contributes to the harmony of life. The landscapes themselves are serene. Picture rolling hills, olive groves, and gentle rivers winding through the countryside. The wind rustles leaves softly. The sun casts warm light over temples and fields. Night falls with calm inevitability, stars emerging slowly across the sky. This imagery, repeated in countless myths, encourages the mind to relax, to follow the slow, steady rhythm of the natural world. Even conflict, when it occurs, is often measured and instructive. The gods may disagree, but their disputes are resolved with wisdom rather than chaos. Mortals learn from these stories that understanding, reflection, and patience often yield better results than impulsive action or violence. Each tale carries a quiet lesson about life's rhythm, about the value of calm observation, and about the restorative power of patience. As the night deepens, let your mind settle. Imagine yourself walking slowly through ancient Greek cities and forests. Feel the warmth of stone temples under your fingers. Hear the distant laughter of children playing quietly in a courtyard. Sense the gentle movement of the wind through the trees, carrying the faint aroma of olive and wildflowers. Let your thoughts drift in time with these images. The myths themselves offer a final, gentle lesson. Time moves inevitably, but it need not be hurried. Sleep, rest, reflection, and calm observation are all part of the natural order. Heroes, gods, and mortals alike depend on this rhythm to maintain balance in their lives. The stories remind us that even when events are dramatic or challenging, there is always space for patience, for quiet reflection, and for the gentle passage of time. As your eyes grow heavier, let the soft whispers of Hypnos guide you. His presence is invisible but felt, moving across the lands of mortals and gods alike. Every breath you take is slow and steady. Every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of the myths we have explored. Allow the lessons of patience, calm, and quiet strength to fill your mind. And now, as the world of Greek myths fades softly into dreams, remember that sleep is a gift, just as the stories themselves are a gift. Let yourself rest, knowing that the gods, the heroes, and the creatures of myth move in their gentle rhythms, and that you, too, can find peace in the quiet unfolding of time. The world of Greek myths begins not with battles, but with the quiet unfolding of the universe. Before the gods had names, before the sky had a ruler, there was chaos, a vast emptiness, silent, infinite. From this calm nothingness emerged Gaia, the earth, steady and patient. She rose without hurry, like a stone slowly warmed by the sun, solid and unyielding. Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the sky, who stretched above her like a soft, blue blanket. From their union came the Titans, ancient beings who embodied the forces of nature. They moved slowly and steadily, representing rivers, mountains, and the inexorable flow of time. Among them was Cronus, the god of time, who ruled patiently but feared the prophecy that one day his child would overthrow him. Cronus swallowed each of his children at birth. Life continued, but with a subtle heaviness, a slow tension in the natural order. Rhea, his wife, chose quiet resistance. When Zeus, her youngest, was born, she hid him on the island of Crete, where he was nurtured by goats and soothed by the soft winds through olive trees. Time passed gently, and eventually Zeus returned, fulfilling the prophecy not through chaos, but through inevitability. Zeus became king of the gods, ruling from Mount Olympus. Yet Olympus was not always thunder and lightning. It was a place of reflection, observation, and deliberate thought. Hera, goddess of marriage, watched humanity calmly. Athena, born from thought itself, guided with wisdom rather than force. Apollo moved the sun across the sky with steady rhythm. Artemis wandered forests silently, protecting animals and travelers with gentle observation. Minor gods contributed to this calm balance. Hestia tended hearths quietly, bringing warmth and comfort. The Muses inspired memory, art, and music, ensuring stories could flow gently from one generation to the next. Even Hermes, the messenger, moved quickly but silently, delivering words and ideas without creating chaos. Mortals lived in harmony with these rhythms. Farmers followed the seasons under Demeter's guidance. Crops grew slowly, winter arrived as a pause for the earth, and spring unfolded gently, coaxing life back into the fields. Shepherds guided flocks along quiet rivers. Fishermen drifted on calm seas, their boats rocking with the steady pulse of the waves. Every action was measured, deliberate, and connected to the natural cycles around them. Even the heroes practiced patience. Bellerophon tamed Pegasus through careful understanding, not reckless daring. Theseus navigated the labyrinth with observation, listening for echoes and moving step by step. Odysseus spent long periods at sea drifting with the current, reflecting and observing. Greek myths teach that patience and thoughtfulness are often more powerful than hasty action. Love stories, too, move slowly. Orpheus descended into the underworld with only his music, guiding shadows with gentle melody. Persephone's cycle between the underworld and the earth created winter and spring, teaching that rest and renewal are natural and necessary. The myths show that calm, measured actions are often more meaningful than grand gestures. Even monsters follow natural rhythms. The Hydra's heads grow back slowly. Cerberus guards the underworld methodically. Medusa waits alone, patient, in her isolation. Challenges in the myths are rarely chaotic. They follow patterns that can be understood and navigated with care. Imagine Olympus at twilight. Gods gather, but there is no shouting. Decisions are made deliberately, with reflection. Mortals live beneath their watchful eyes, learning from both the quiet guidance and the gentle examples of divine patience. The natural world mirrors these lessons. Poseidon's waves rise and fall rhythmically, rivers move steadily, forests breathe with a calm, constant life. Mortals lived in harmony with these rhythms. Farmers followed the seasons under Demeter's guidance. Crops grew slowly, winter arrived as a pause for the earth, and spring unfolded gently, coaxing life back into the fields. Shepherds guided flocks along quiet rivers. Fishermen drifted on calm seas, their boats rocking with the steady pulse of the waves. Every action was measured, deliberate, and connected to the natural cycles around them. Even the heroes practiced patience. Bellerophon tamed Pegasus through careful understanding, not reckless daring. Theseus navigated the labyrinth with observation, listening for echoes and moving step by step. Odysseus spent long periods at sea drifting with the current, reflecting and observing. Greek myths teach that patience and thoughtfulness are often more powerful than hasty action. Love stories, too, move slowly. Orpheus descended into the underworld with only his music, guiding shadows with gentle melody. Persephone's cycle between the underworld and the earth created winter and spring, teaching that rest and renewal are natural and necessary. The myths show that calm, measured actions are often more meaningful than grand gestures. Even monsters follow natural rhythms. The Hydra's heads grow back slowly. Cerberus guards the underworld methodically. Medusa waits alone, patient, in her isolation. Challenges in the myths are rarely chaotic. They follow patterns that can be understood and navigated with care. Imagine Olympus at twilight. Gods gather, but there is no shouting. Decisions are made deliberately, with reflection. Mortals live beneath their watchful eyes, learning from both the quiet guidance and the gentle examples of divine patience. The natural world mirrors these lessons. Poseidon's waves rise and fall rhythmically, rivers move steadily, forests breathe with a calm, constant life. Now picture a quiet morning in ancient Greece. Sunlight warms white marble temples. Wind rustles olive leaves. Distant rivers murmur across stones. Birds rise and call softly. Priests light lamps and chant slowly, marking time with gentle ceremony. These subtle, peaceful details appear throughout Greek myths, teaching that stillness is valuable and life's rhythms are sacred. Let us explore minor myths that are often overlooked, yet perfectly suited to this sleep-friendly storytelling. Pan, the god of shepherds and flocks, wandered quiet forests playing his pipes. His melodies were soft, enchanting, and calming. Not a song of battle or conquest, but one of gentle motion, echoing through trees, hills, and streams. Hephaestus, the god of fire and craftsmanship, worked in his forges. Sparks glowed softly in the dim light, each hammer strike steady and rhythmic. His creations took time, patience, and precision. The story reminds us that great work, like rest, cannot be rushed. Even the muses have tales of their own, walking alongside poets and artists, whispering ideas softly. They never shout, they do not demand. They inspire quietly, letting the imagination flow, slowly building worlds in thought before they appear in action. Heroes in these myths also have moments of pause that teach calmness. Achilles slept beneath stars, Odysseus reflected on long journeys at sea, and Perseus prepared for his quest slowly, considering every step. These narratives remind us that even those remembered for courage and daring found value in reflection, patience, and quiet action. The world itself is a character in these myths. Rivers flow endlessly but calmly. Mountains rise, immovable and steady. Winds whisper through trees, and seas lap at shores with a measured rhythm. The natural world teaches harmony, patience, and the gentle inevitability of time. Even in conflict, lessons are calm and reflective. Disputes among gods are resolved with counsel, cleverness, and subtle maneuvering, not chaos. Mortals learn that observation, understanding, and patience often achieve more than rash actions. Every myth reinforces the idea that time's slow, steady rhythm is a gift, and that sleep, reflection, and calm observation are essential parts of life. As night deepens, imagine lying on soft grass beneath the stars, the faint scent of olive trees in the air, distant rivers moving slowly, and the gentle hum of life all around. The gods, the heroes, and the minor figures of myth are resting, observing, and moving with purpose, but never in haste. The gentle lessons of Greek mythology encourage calm breathing, slow thought, and deep rest. Sleep is sacred, reflection is valued, and every small action has meaning. Even when events are dramatic, the myths allow moments of pause, helping both gods and mortals find balance and tranquility. As your eyes grow heavy and your mind drifts, Hypnos, the god of sleep, moves silently nearby. His presence is soft, invisible, yet undeniably comforting. Each breath you take matches the rhythm of the myths, steady, calm, and restorative. The stories have lulled you into a quiet understanding of time, patience, and gentle action. And so, as Greek myths fade slowly into dreams, know that sleep is natural, the world moves in harmony, and every quiet moment matters. Let yourself rest now, carried gently by the slow, steady pulse of the ancient stories. The stars above, the wind in the trees, and the flowing rivers all remind you of the calm rhythm of life. Tonight, Greek myths are not meant to excite, they are meant to soothe. Let them guide you softly into rest, knowing that the gods, heroes, and creatures of legend move in gentle rhythms, and that you, too, can find peace and calm in the slow, unfolding passage of time. The stars above, the wind through the trees, the soft murmur of rivers, they all exist as reminders of the slow, enduring rhythms of life. And as your mind drifts further into rest, carry with you the calm, measured lessons of these ancient stories. Patience, reflection, and gentle observation are powerful, and even the smallest quiet moments hold meaning. Tonight, Greek myths are not meant to thrill. They are meant to soothe, to guide, to help you drift gently into sleep. And as you rest, imagine the gods smiling softly, the heroes dreaming peacefully, and the world itself resting in harmony. Instead, they were blamed on age, stress, or personality. The drug, once again, escaped suspicion. Among the working class, drug dependence looked different. Without stable access to doctors or controlled environments, addiction revealed itself more quickly. Opium was sometimes used to dull hunger or physical pain from labor. It provided brief relief but worsened long-term suffering. When dependence formed, the consequences were immediate. Missed work, declining health, visible poverty. These cases attracted public attention. Newspapers reported on opium fiends and degenerate behavior. Addiction became associated with moral failure and social decay. What was rarely acknowledged was that the same substances were being consumed daily in respectable homes. The difference was privacy. Opium dens became the focus of Victorian fear. Often located in areas like Limehouse, these establishments were associated with Chinese immigrant communities. Though their actual numbers were small, their cultural impact was enormous. Newspapers sensationalized them. Novels depicted them as dark, exotic, and dangerous. Middle-class Victorians imagined them as places where morality dissolved and civilization itself was threatened. This narrative served an important purpose. It allowed society to externalize the problem. Drug use was framed as something foreign, criminal, and corrupting, not something rooted in respectable medicine and British industry. The opium den became a symbol, distracting attention from the chemist shop on the high street. As drug use expanded, so did tragedy. Children accidentally overdosed on soothing syrups. Infants failed to wake. Toddlers drank from unlabeled bottles. These deaths were often recorded as natural causes. Grieving parents rarely questioned medicine. Doctors rarely admitted error. Chemists continued selling the same products. Each incident was treated as isolated. The pattern went unnoticed.